afternoon, all of you. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
My voice is back and happy.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are going to discuss brainstem. Okay. So we already know like what is brainstem, like the stem of the brain, which is basically connecting the cerebrum to the spinal cord. Okay. So the part which is involving midbrain, pons, and medulla. Okay, it forms the brainstem. Okay, so it connects the nerves of peripheral nervous system to the brain. That means the tracks which are moving from like ascending tracks and descending tracks, they generally move through brainstem. Now, from the knowledge of physiology also we know like in the floor of fourth ventricle, that is in the medulla oblongata and pons, on the dorsal aspect we have respiratory centers and vasomotor centers controlling the respiration. Okay. What are the major parts of brainstem we have? Midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata, isn't it? So we have so many cranial nerve nuclei which we are going to elaborate now. And we have discussed previously also like brainstem is connected to cerebellum via three peduncles. No? So what are the three
Yes, ma'am.
peduncles we have? Superior, middle, and inferior cerebellar peduncle. Superior is connecting cerebellum to midbrain. Middle,
Between
middle is connecting
pons
pons to the
to
cerebellum.
cerebellum,
Inferior, medulla to
medulla to
cerebellum. So now what are the various cranial nerves which are coming from each part of the brainstem? So 3rd to 12th cranial nerves will emerge from here. We will see the pictures also. From midbrain we have 3rd, 4th cranial nerves. From pons we have 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th cranial nerves. From medulla oblongata we have 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th cranial nerves emerging out. Okay. All these cranial nerves are coming from ventral aspect except the trochlear. We will see trochlear is coming out dorsally and it is winding around to reach the ventral aspect. Okay, we will see this. Now, see, this is midbrain. So this area, actually, this area is interpeduncular fossa. Yesterday also when we were doing some topic, this word has come. Okay, so this is crus cerebri. This particular area is actually called as crus cerebri. Okay, these are two mammillary bodies. Okay, so this is the pituitary stalk infundiculum. Okay, then we have this optic tract. So basically, this egg-shaped structure is optic chiasma. Further continuation will be the optic tract. This is anterior perforated substance. This is posterior perforated substance. So this area is pons, which is generally considered as bridge. Okay, in front of pons, whatever area we have is midbrain. Okay, in the midbrain, on the ventral aspect, we have interpeduncular fossa. This is basically olfactory tract. It has basically started as olfactory bulb, olfactory tract. This is medial stria, this is lateral stria, anterior perforated substance. Okay, olfactory tract, medial stria, lateral stria, then anterior perforated substance. This is posterior perforated. Okay, so this is pituitary gland, I said, right? Mammillary bodies. Then this is crus cerebri. This crura. Plural is crura. Crura or the crus cerebri. You also call it as cerebral peduncles. What is this? Optic chiasma. Third cranial. Optic is olfactory is first, optic is second, isn't it? Then third is oculomotor and fourth is trochlear. Okay. Then fifth is trigeminal. Sixth is apicent. Seventh, facial. Two rootlets are facial. Then eighth, what is this eighth one? Vestibulocochlear. Isn't it? Like that, we have all cranial. Now, this is medulla oblongata, from where you have 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th cranial nerves emerging. Okay, we will elaborate on all these points as we proceed. So now coming to midbrain. So from midbrain, we have two pairs of cranial nerves coming. That is the oculomotor, third pair, and the trochlear, which is fourth pair of cranial nerve. Okay. So this is third one, oculomotor, and fourth one, trochlear. Okay. So trochlear is the only cranial nerve I told you which is coming from the dorsal aspect, but seen on the ventral. That means it is coming from behind in front. Okay. Now see, this is pons. So from the pons, what are the various? See, this thickest one, biggest one, what we are finding is trigeminal. We know trigeminal is basically sensory, but it also has a small motor root. Motor root is giving nerve supply to muscles of mastication.
Face.
Muscles of mastication. Okay, masseter, medial pterygoid, lateral pterygoid, and temporalis. This sensory will be giving the sensory supply to face. This is fifth one, sixth one is this apicent, seventh one is this facial, and then we have eighth one is vestibulocochlear. Okay, everything is labeled here. Fifth, the sixth, seventh, eighth. Okay, then we have the various other cranial nerves from medulla oblongata. So this is ninth. What is ninth cranial nerve? Glossopharyngeal. 10th, vagus. 11th,
Vagus.
accessory. And
Accessory.
12th is hypoglossal.
Hypoglossal.
Okay, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay, so these cranial nerves are coming from medulla oblongata. Okay, now let us elaborate on each part of brainstem little. Okay, so midbrain. So midbrain, we know it is derived from mesencephalon. It connects the hindbrain to forebrain. It's a small connecting structure. This particular area is midbrain. Okay, and we know the cavity which is running here. I told you here we have third ventricle, no, between two thalami. So this is cerebral aqueduct which connects the third ventricle to fourth ventricle, which is present behind the pons and medulla and below the cerebellum. Isn't it? No. So this cavity relations anteriorly, it is related to the interpeduncular fossa. And now see here, see what are the various structures you see. See, this is which aspect? Dorsal aspect. Okay, and this is ventral aspect. So in the dorsal aspect, what are we finding? This also I have explained you previously. It has two elevations which are called as the two superior colliculae and inferior colliculae. Together we call it as carpora quadrigemina. Isn't it?
Yes.
Stop. Okay, you remember this is superior medullary velum when we were doing roof of fourth ventricle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is. So relations of midbrain. See, this is our midbrain, right? So anteriorly, I have shown you the previous picture, that is it is related to interpeduncular fossa. Posteriorly, you will see the splenium, this part, the splenium part of the corpus callosum, and here there is a vein which is great cerebral vein. Behind we also find pineal body. Isn't it just now about four colliculae? This is our pineal body. Okay, behind. Okay, and this is pulvinar part of thalamus. This is thalamus in here. Okay, this one. Okay. On either side, the midbrain is related to parahippocampal gyre. Of course, we have seen parahippocampal gyre when we were doing medial surface of cerebrum. We need to recollect. Okay, then it's also related to the optic tract, and then posterior cerebral artery on either side, basilar vein, cochlear nerve, and geniculate bodies. These are the geniculate bodies. Okay, these are colliculae, and as this is medial geniculate body where I kept the arrow, and this is lateral geniculate body. Medial geniculate body will be receiving the fibers for hearing, no? Auditory fibers. Lateral geniculate body will be carrying the fibers for vision.
Vision.
Coming to the length of midbrain, it is very small, 2.5 centimeters. Okay, it has two cerebellar peduncles. Okay, corpora quadri. Everything I have shown with the superior colliculus, inferior colliculus, medial and lateral geniculate body. Superior colliculus is attached to lateral geniculate body via superior trachea. Okay, Inferior colliculus, I will show you again. It is attached to medial geniculate body by inferior brachium. That means superior colliculus is concerned with the mechanism of
Vision.
vision. Inferior is concerned with the mechanism of hearing. Okay.
Hearing.
So this is superior colliculus, okay, and this is superior brachium. It's related to lateral geniculate body. This is inferior colliculus. This is inferior brachium. It is related to medial geniculate body. Okay, like brachium means connections. Okay, these projections, whatever they are. Now, when you talk about midbrain, we have to take sections at two levels. Okay, always we take the sections from lower down. You remember, like spinal cord section, I have shown you gray matter, white matter, and we have seen many cranial nerve nuclei there, isn't it?
Mm.
Okay, sorry, not cranial nerve. Like, what are the various nuclei we have seen? Nucleus. Rolando's nucleus, ventral nucleus, dorsal nucleus, medial, lateral. So many nuclei we have seen, and we have seen ascending and descending tracts. Substantia gelatinosa of Rolando, isn't it? Many. Those were the spinal nerve nuclei from where the tracts are actually starting, the ascending tracts. Okay. When you talk about brainstem, we will talk about cranial nerve nuclei. Okay, because just now you have seen at the level of midbrain, what were the cranial nerves which were emerging, third and fourth, isn't it? We have seen which one, oculomotor and trochlear. What aspect of the brain is this better? Dorsal aspect.
Dorsal aspect.
Dorsal. Now I told you the only one cranial nerve which is arising from dorsal aspect is trochlea. This
Trochlea.
yellow box is like it is hampering our vision. In fact, there is one nerve which is shown so clearly. Okay. Can you see little nerve is there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is that nerve? If I take the cursor,
Trochlea.
it will be gone. Okay, that is the trochlea. Okay. So sections we have to, that means this is the only nerve which comes from the dorsal aspect and then it is seen on ventral aspect. Okay. Rest all cranial nerves emerge from ventral aspect only except for this trochlea. Okay. We take two sections. Always sections come from, they should come from downwards upward. That means first section should be inferior colliculus, then it is superior colliculus. If you are in any textbook, it is like that. Okay. That too, we should start sections first in the spinal cord, then medulla oblongata. We have three sections. Pons, we have two sections. Midbrain also we have two sections. First section is at inferior colliculus. The other section is at superior colliculus. Okay. Now see, whatever sections we have, we should know thoroughly, like what are the labelings. The simple way to learn, all see how many sections we have altogether. We have 7 sections. Okay, so 3 for medulla, 2 for pons, and 2 for midbrain. So overall, how many? 7 sections. So learn one section every day so that it becomes easy for you, because any one of these section can come for 5 marks. Okay. So sometimes it may not come also, but it's better to be thorough. Okay. So that is. So now this first section we are taking at the level of superior colliculus. Okay, that is the. What are the various things you are finding? This is in the middle. You are finding the superior colliculus is this. That means this is which part of the diagram? This is dorsal and this is ventral. On the ventral aspect, just now I told you crus cerebri, two are crus. These projections are nothing but cerebral peduncles are called, also called as crus cerebri, which are seen on ventral aspect. Colliculi are seen on dorsal aspect. Okay. Now, in the section, what are we finding? Beta? See, this is cerebral aqueduct. Okay, in which CSF is moving, which is connecting the third ventricle to fourth ventricle. And around the cerebral aqueduct, whatever gray matter is there, you call it as periaqueductal gray. Peri means around.
Ma'am, can you please repeat, ma'am? Your video got stuck for me.
Okay. Periaqueductal gray. It will be written somewhere. This is aqueduct of Sylvius, no? It corresponds to central canal of spinal cord. For midbrain, it is named as aqueduct of Sylvius. Okay, around which also we are finding collection of nuclei. Okay, that is gray matter collection. Okay, we call it as periaqueductal gray.
Okay.
Gray matter around cerebral aqueduct. Okay, within this gray matter, are you finding there is one cranial nerve? What are the two cranial nerves emerging from here? Two we have. One is
3, 4.
3 and 4. Okay. So we are finding the cranial, third cranial nerve nuclei here. We call it as oculomotor nuclei. Actually, oculomotor nucleus little downwards, but it will have connection with this nucleus, which is called as Edinger-Westphal nucleus. What is the basic function of this oculomotor nerve? Where is it supplying?
Eyes. Extraocular muscle.
Extraocular muscles, except for superior oblique and lateral rectus. Rest all
Okay.
muscles are supplied by oculomotor nerve, isn't it? So it's having connection with the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Okay, and we know like collection of gray matter is like something which is dispersed throughout brainstem. What do we call it as?
Reticular formation.
Reticular formation. Okay. We also have a thing which is called as red nucleus. This red nucleus is red in color because it will have iron pigment. Okay, because of which it will be red in color. Okay. So the bundles of tracks which are moving in this direction, it is called as medial lemniscus. Okay, medial lemniscus. Okay. Then so this area is substantia nigra, which is little dark in color or black in color because it will have melanin pigments. Okay. Then, so this is anterior aspect. I said anterior is also called as ventral aspect. It has been divided into 1, 2, 3 segments. 1, 2, and 3. The medial one and lateral one is showing the tracts which are extra pyramidal or the motor tracts, and the middle part is showing the pyramidal tracts. Okay. So now this section is at which level?
Superior follicle.
Superior follicle. So which cranial nerve is emerging?
Third oculomotor.
Oculomotor. Is it emerging from ventral aspect or dorsal aspect?
Ventral.
Ventral aspect. Okay, because this crura cerebrae or crus cerebrae, we call it, it is seen on the ventral aspect. Okay. That is. So this is the crus cerebrae you are finding. Okay, so this is medial 1/5, this is lateral 1/5, and this is middle 3/5. Okay, this is crus cerebrae, anterior one. Okay, medial 1/5 is carrying frontopontine fibers, middle 3/5 corticospinal and corticonuclear, and this one is temporopontine, paretopontine, and occipitopontine fibers we have. Okay. The substantia nigra is pigmented layer of gray matter. Okay, it contains nerve cells. I told you it has melanin pigment. Okay, so it is the dorsal compact part and ventral reticular. That means this side you call it as compact part, and this side, that means if you divide it into two halves, the part which is towards dorsal aspect is compact, and the part which is towards ventral aspect is reticular. Okay. Again, see, substantia nigra itself can be a 3 marks question. So you should know what are the afferent fibers here and efferent fibers. Afferent fibers, this is all something like memory only, but by hearting only. Okay. So, of course, flags are there, but unless we memorize, we can't remember so many things. Okay. Afferent fibers are the fibers which are connecting to motor cortex, area number 4, isn't it? Corpus striatum. Okay. Corpus striatum is a part of, we have seen basal ganglia. Different fibers are coming from this spinal cord and this adjacent nucleus. What is this? Red nucleus. So the function of substantia nigra is it is controlling muscle tone. Okay. Red nucleus is also very important, but again it can be a 3 marks question. Okay. So red nucleus is ovoid mass of gray matter, okay, which is situated behind the cerebral aqueduct of gray. Okay. So again, you should know what are the afferents and what are the efferents. Okay, what are the afferents it is receiving and what are the efferents it is sending. Afferents are from cerebellum, dentate nucleus, also from corpus striatum, subthalamic nucleus and substantia nigra. Efferents are going to like from red nucleus, rubrospinal tract which cross to opposite side, forming ventral tegmental decussation. Okay, this one. That means from red nucleus the fibers are moving to the spinal cord. Okay, so this is ventral tegmental decussation. Okay, so this side you also have one more decussation which is dorsal tegmental decussation, which is called as tectospinal tract. Okay, so that is. So again, what are the various tracts we have here is written here. Okay. So ventral tegmental decussation, like medial trigeminal and spinal lemniscus. Fibers of lateral lemniscus entering into medial geniculate body, okay, and medial longitudinal body. Internal capsule here, which is this central gray matter. You need not know so many details, but to be very sincere, you should know the things what you should know at this point is you should know substantia nigra in detail, okay, red nucleus in detail, okay, and this section you should know in detail, okay. So transfer section of midbrain at the level of superior colliculus. Question can be like this, and you should be able to draw, label, and explain about at least you can talk about red nucleus, you can talk about oculomotor nerve, you can talk about substantia nigra, you can also talk about the crus cerebrae, what are the tracks which are passing there. Okay, that is enough, and the rest of whatever is given in this PowerPoint is too vast, not so much, so many details required. Now then we are going to next section, that is inferior colliculus. This one. Okay. So inferior colliculus, which cranial nerve are you finding here? Like just below this, trochlear.
Fourth.
Fourth. So we know this aspect is the dorsal aspect. So trochlear is emerging. Actually started in the dorsal aspect, but it will be visible on ventral aspect. Okay. All cranial nerves. This is the ventral aspect of brainstem. This is the dorsal aspect of brainstem. The nerve is not coming from ventral, but it is seen on the dorsal aspect. But they are decussating. Okay, the nerve nucleus is here. Okay, trochlear nerve nucleus, and you can see the right one is moving towards left and left one is moving towards right. Okay, so the subdivisions of midbrain you can see here. So this is the dorsal part, which is most posterior is tectum. As you move in front, we have tegmentum, and this is crus cerebri or crura cerebri. The tracts what we have found at the level of superior colliculus are same again even in the inferior colliculus. Okay, same thing you will see. Then, so these are the lemniscus. Actually, there is a code to remember: MTSL, medial, uh, lateral, trigeminal, MTSL, spinal and lateral lemniscus. I'll show you as we proceed. Okay. So what is this colliculus level? We have inferior colliculus. This is inferior colliculus. Okay. This is cerebral aqueduct, and this is the periaqueductal gray matter. Okay. The cranial nerve nucleus you are finding here is the trochlear nerve. Trochlear nerve. Everywhere you have something like this is usually reticular formation. Okay. Which section is this? See, whatever sections are given in your textbook, you can follow that. See, this is the inferior colliculus. Okay. What is this? Cerebral aqueduct. What is this? Periaqueductal gray. Okay. So this two round elevations are the inferior colliculi. Okay. This is the superior cerebellar peduncle. That means what? Connection between the midbrain and the cerebellum. And of course, various tracts you are finding. Okay. This area is again substantia nigra, and again this is crus cerebrae. You will not find any difference here. Crus cerebrae and substantia nigra will remain the same. Okay. So I told you we have 4 subdivisions, no? Here in the bundles, the tracts which are moving. Okay, the ascending tract. We have MTSL. What are those? Medial lemniscus, trigeminal lemniscus, lateral lemniscus, and spinal lemniscus. Medial MTSL. Medial to lateral, these are the tracts. Okay. Lemnisci means bundles. Again, it's the same thing you will find there is no change in the crura cerebrae at the crus cerebrae at the cerebral peduncles. Same subdivisions, medial 1/5, middle 3/5, and lateral 1/5. Okay,
Mm.
so this is inferior colliculus and this is cerebral aqueduct, periaqueductal gray. Now, suppose if there is any damage at the midbrain level, so that condition is actually called as Weber syndrome. So it will be involving third cranial nerve and pyramidal nerve. So we know what is the nerve supply of third cranial nerve. It goes to extraocular muscles, isn't it?
Mm.
What are those muscles? Superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial rectus, isn't it?
Mm.
And inferior oblique. Those four muscles are supplied. So suppose if this is damaged, obviously those particular movements of eyeball which are controlled by these muscles will be lost. Okay. So it
Mm.
results in hemiplegia of opposite with third cranial nerve paralysis. Okay.
Mm.
After this we have pons. So pons, actually the ventral aspect of pons is looking like a bridge, isn't it?
Mm.
This is pons. Pons is basically called as bridge which connects the midbrain to the medulla oblongata. Okay.
Mm.
So now this pons has two aspects. This aspect is ventral aspect and the one which is related to fourth ventricle is dorsal aspect. So dorsal aspect we have seen when we were doing
Mm.
fourth ventricle, isn't it? So
Mm.
this is the ventral aspect which is looking like a bridge. All transverse direction lines you are seeing. That means what? This is middle cerebellar peduncle and you are having fibers which are connecting the tracts from right cerebellar hemisphere to left cerebellar hemisphere. They are traveling via pons. Okay?
Mm.
Cerebello-pontocerebellar tracts, like that it is. Okay? Coming to the length, it is around 2.5 centimeters. So this surface is ventral surface. The one which we see with fourth ventricle will be the dorsal surface. Okay, it is convex in all direction. It is transversely striated. That means all transverse lines are seen. Okay, you are finding there is one sulcus in the middle, which is called as basilar sulcus. This midline where I am scrolling, where you will see the basilar artery will be lodged here. Yesterday we have seen on the right and left vertebral arteries will fuse to form the basilar artery. Okay.
Mm.
Dorsal surface will not be seen in intact brain because it is covered by cerebellum. Okay. And of course we will do dissection and we have seen also. So dorsal surface forms the upper part of the floor of the fourth ventricle. Laterally, it is continuous with the cerebellum via middle cerebellar peduncle. And the cranial nerves emerging from here are, which cranial nerve is this? Fifth one.
Trigeminal.
Suppose, suppose if you consider this as anterior border of pons, from the anterior border we have third and fourth. Okay, that is oculomotor and trochlear. This one is fifth. We have this is
Mm.
sixth, seventh, and eighth cranial nerves are coming from pons. Okay,
Mm.
let's see this one. Okay, so this is fifth one. This is sixth, seventh, and eighth. Okay, so two
Mm.
surfaces. This is labeled so nice it is. Posterior surface is also called as dorsal surface. Anterior surface is also called as ventral surface. So the
Mm.
anterior surface is the surface which is resting in the cranial cavity, the cranial fossa. Okay, and the one which is behind, which is below the cerebellum, is the dorsal surface. Okay, so what is this line of partition we have? Stria medullaris, isn't it?
Mm.
What is this partition we have? Median sulcus.
Sulcus.
What is
Mm.
this? Facial colliculus.
Yes.
What is this? Medial eminence. What is this?
Mm.
Superior fovea. This is vestibular area, isn't it?
Yes.
So all this you should talk when you are talking about the posterior aspect of pons, when you are talking about gross features. Whatever visible here are the ventral aspect of pons, whatever visible here are dorsal aspect or the posterior aspect of pons. Okay. So that is the pons is divisible into ventral part, that is basilar part, and dorsal part, that is tegmentum. Okay. We'll see in the pictures. So the basilar part is how is the ventral part? All striations, no lines, lines, lines. So it has transverse and vertical fibers and also pontine nucleus. So transverse fibers are connecting pons to the cerebellum. I told you, no, right and left cerebellar hemispheres are connected via pons, isn't it? Those are the transverse fibers. We also have vertical fibers. Vertical fibers are nothing but the ascending and descending tracts what we have. Okay. So like descending tracts are actually moving from the cerebral cortex to pontine. We call them as corticopontine. We have corticospinal and corticonuclear fibers. Okay, these are running in vertical direction in straight line. Pontocerebellar are those transverse lines. Okay, on either side of that basilar sulcus. Again, we will take section at 2 levels. Okay, simple names: lower pons and upper pons. Okay, we will go with better pictures. So this is first section. We are finding the lower part of the pons. Okay, so we have two parts. Okay, so what are the various parts we have? See, this is, I told you, this is the ventral aspect and this is dorsal aspect. Okay. So what are the two names we have given? Just now I told you. Ventral part is basilar, dorsal part is tegmentum. Okay. The basilar part and this is the tegmentum part. So now, can you remember facial colliculus? What we have
Yes,
seen?
ma'am.
Huh? The dorsal aspect. So how is that formed? We have, see this. This is the facial nerve
Geno.
facial nerve nucleus, and this is the abducens nerve nucleus. The facial nerve nucleus, before coming out, it is coiling around the
Abducens.
abducens nerve nucleus, and then it is emerging outside, and it forms an elevation which is called as the facial colliculus. Why is this occurring? I told you it is neurobiotaxis. What is the meaning? The facial nerve is the motor nerve of face, whereas trigeminal